One question I got here is, what advice would you give to people wanting to start their own fitness journey? Just get started. It don't matter if you have all the equipment in the world or you don't. Just get started. Put one foot in front of the other. Just get started. Like, cause a lot of people, including me at times, like a couple of days ago, I went through this. It's paralysis by analysis. You look too methodical and look too deep into things, and it stops you from even starting to put action into things. Like, don't even think about being perfect. It's more important to be consistent rather than perfect. It's more important to be imperfectly consistent and be willing to fail. You know what I'm saying? Because during your fitness journey, you might have days where you're like, I don't want to go lift, I don't want to go walk, I don't want to go run, I don't want to make this chicken bowl with quinoa and broccoli. I'd rather go eat Pizza Hut, you know. But you just have to remind yourself of your why, and you have to remind yourself that consistency compounds and consistency reveals all, and remind yourself to play the long game. Y'all, see you back on here in that episode of Indigo Podcast, and today I have a Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a minute, so for these, I ain't gonna lie, I don't really have like a script or like, I guess, a blueprint or a plan as to like what I'm gonna say. I was at the gym, I'm like, you know what, should I plan this out strategically, or should I just look at it and not wing it, but, you know, look at it and give my most genuine and just authentic answer, I guess, just kind of in the moment. So I asked in the group chat, I have a family group chat, I asked like some questions they had for me. And also on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram's at Lil Rascal Adani. Same thing for TikTok, and obviously YouTube if you're watching me on YouTube. So if you want to see recipes or content, I obviously post content too. But anyway, free plug, I had to plug myself in. But put a poll on Instagram, well, a questionnaire, I guess, and just said, ask you some questions. So first, I'm going to start with some questions that I got asked in the group chat. So first question is, how did you become disciplined? And this is a good question. I would say, I've mentioned this event before, but I would say it started when I missed my goal at my sophomore district meet in the 400 meter dash. I was trying to get under 60 seconds. I did not get under 60 seconds. I ran 62. So that moment propelled me to change who I was, obviously as an athlete, but also as a person. So I just started doing research, found out about consistency, which goes hand in hand with discipline. So, you know, I just kept being consistent, kept showing up. And then obviously my senior year, ran sub 500 mile, had some significant achievements. So in terms of what keeps me, but how did I become disciplined? It's just constant, consistent reps. And you fall into that mode, and you realize, okay, this is my life now. This is who I am. Because you realize how powerful it is. So I haven't gotten all this progress I've made, and it's not even super significant, but I've made some progress along the way, obviously. It's from consistency, and with consistency comes discipline, because the thing is, with consistency, it makes you realize just how you can take control of your own life. You know what I'm saying? You're in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? By putting in the reps, the consistent reps, and the repetition of putting in reps over and over again, it makes it so undeniably true that you're the decider of your life. Now, obviously, there's other external factors that are going to come in, but you're the decider. You're the one that gets to choose if you do some or not, if you log your miles, if you eat a healthier meal most of the time, if you go lift, if you get your steps in, stuff like that. So honestly, I would say how I became disciplined, I would just say just doing the reps and falling into the mode that consistency compounds. You know what I'm saying? It works. Like, it's proven. It doesn't matter whatever you do. So I'll probably say consistency. That's how I became so disciplined, and just, I guess, a person that gets after. I don't know. I guess if that's what you would say. But next question. I ain't gonna lie. This same person gave me 7 questions, so we're just gonna go down the line. So second question. What keeps you going when you lose motivation? Now, I've stated this before, but I personally think motivation is cool, but discipline is better. And the thing is, whenever like this morning, for example, like I was like, the weather's kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna get stormed on, but I gotta get my run in. I mean, I don't have access to a treadmill, and I'd probably run in the rain either way, so it doesn't matter. So, when I quote unquote, I guess, lose motivation, I mean, I would say I'm a decently motivated person. Obviously, I'll have spurts that I'm more inspired. I think that's a better word, inspired, rather than motivated. But I just realized it's a non-negotiable. I set out to do this half marathon in October, so it's a non-negotiable. And even before then, my training is one of those things in my life that it has to get done. I don't give myself the chance because when I was younger, I gave myself the chance too many times to just stay in and watch YouTube or watch Instagram or whatever and watch what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going out and doing what I need to do and what I set out to do. You know what I'm saying? I just think holding your word, like holding the word you gave to yourself, most importantly, because you can tell people a lot of things, but if you're not doing something that you told yourself would do, I think that hurts you more, and that cuts deep for me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that can be kind of a double-edged sword. Like when things change and you have to adapt, you might feel a little bit bad, but I don't know if that's just me. But like yeah, I would just say what keeps me going is just holding myself to that standard I set. Like, I just can't go back on it. You know what I'm saying? Because once I say once my coach sends my training for the week, that's the training for the week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to take it very serious. Now, I know some people take things more serious than others, but if you take something serious, like if I take something serious, I take it really serious. So I don't care if it's raining or if it's snowing, I'm going to run. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go lift or whatever. If I have to move things around, okay, so be it, but it's going to get done. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. I just think like it's not any negotiating with yourself, you know? Like I remember a clip of Kobe saying that, like something along the lines like he gave a scenario if you're on a track, you know, they saying like your legs hurt and you want to quit, like I already signed this contract with myself, there's no negotiating. So honestly, just the answer to that question, I don't give myself the chance to negotiate. If I say I have 6 miles like this morning and 4 strides, I ran the 6 miles and did 4 strides. I had chest, back, and arms and core. I did chest, back, arms, and core. I had a 12 to 15,000 step goal. I'm going to hit the goal. You know what I'm saying? Because I just committed myself to doing that. And that's what I know will work. Being consistent over time will get me to crossing the line under 130 in a half marathon. That was a long-winded answer, but I don't know, it just got me a little bit fired up because, you know, I take it really serious. So what helps me go when I lose motivation? That's the answer to that question. So third question, I ain't gonna lie, these are a lot of questions, but hey, we're going to answer them. How important are accountability partners? Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't really have one because I feel like I'm the accountability partner for myself. But however, I think they are important. Like, for example, like when I get married, I feel like when I marry, you know, the one or whatever, I haven't found her yet, but I want her to be she doesn't have to be a runner, she doesn't have to be a lifter or whatever, but she has to be somewhat active. Like I feel like that's how we would, you know, mesh well together. Like she could, I don't know, do high rocks or do cycling or just walk and lift here and there, you know what I'm saying? Like just, you know, conscious of her well-being and health, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, to answer this question, I don't really have one. I've always been the accountability partner for myself. Obviously I have like-minded people in my circle that could give me a 2 cents on things, but in terms of going out for the runs and going out for my lifts and, you know, going for walks and, you know, eating well, that's really me. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm just being honest. Like, that's just me. I just chose to do that. But however, I do think having good, like-minded friends that aren't yes men and having a good husband, a good wife, a good boyfriend that will call you out on your BS when you're trying to slack off or you're trying to be below your standard that you set for yourself and being lower than what you're trying to chase in the grand scheme of things. I think that's really important, and it can, you know, show you a different perspective of things that you may have not thought of before. But I'll say they're important, but for me personally, they're not as important because I don't really have as many, if none at all, to be honest. But I'll say they're important to a lot of people, and if you have someone like-minded, I would lean on them and, you know, be synergetic. I don't know if that's a good word, but, you know, bounce off of each other. But fourth question, what is the purpose of your platform? Now, I think the epitome, I don't know if I used that correctly in the sentence. If I like using big words. So sometimes I might sound a bit slow. But in terms of the purpose of my platform, I would say the bio of my TikTok, I think it's something along the lines. This might be directly like verbatim, but it said, just trying to show people that they're more capable than they think. I think that's pretty much exactly what it is. But honestly, just me talking on here and me showing my training, me showing recipes. I just want to, honestly, the biggest thing that irritates me on the internet is just BS. Like, just people saying you have to cut carbs, you can't eat white rice, you can't eat potatoes, you can't eat bread. I hate that. It eats me inside, bro. Is that a pause? Okay, pause if need be. But it just irritates me, bro, because I just hate false narratives. That's one of the things that are my biggest pet peeves. If you like lie and like you're just saying blatantly false things, I ain't gonna lie, I can't hang with you. It's just annoying, dude. So I wanted to be, I guess, the light in the darkness, if you will, that just spread the truth. Like, just spread my truth and spread the undeniable truth of like nutrition. Like, you don't have to be vegan, you don't have to be carnivore, you don't have to be paleo. You just have to eat whole foods most of the time. Probably mostly plant-based, like a lot of plants, a lot of legumes, if you can tolerate them. Broccoli, maybe some hummus, some avocado, some banana, maybe some oats. Just minimally processed foods, not this ultra processed like Cheeto, Taki stuff every day. Now, you can have them every now and then, but people kind of, if you know me, you know what I'm on. Like, just spreading just stuff that people know they should do, But I would say the purpose, like I said, is showing people they're more capable than you think. Because I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I be running 6, 7, and I'll get up to 8 miles next week for my long run, and like I couldn't even run 3 miles like 3-4 years ago in one sitting without walking in between. Probably because I'd blitz like the first quarter mile, like running stupid. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But I'll say the purpose is just providing good quality knowledge, being myself, because honestly, everything I show you, that's what I do. I wanted to find something that was really genuine to who I am and who I want to be, because I feel like with doing music, like I've said time and time again, the stuff I would talk about just wasn't me. Like talking about doing drills and pouring fours and stuff that rappers talk about, and I just felt like that's not me. Like, I might hop on a song for fun every now and then, but that's not me. I don't want to be defined by that and be associated with that, to be honest. I want to be associated with, good recipes, showing my training, giving advice, and just answering questions and giving good knowledge on here, because I feel like that's what my purpose was, to be here, to spread good knowledge, to spread positivity, and spread just the truth, because a lot of people spin things and say, oh, to lose weight you need. I saw an ad the other day, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was talking to my laptop. I'm like, bro, get off my screen. I said something along the lines of that. But it was like talking about some apple cider vinegar and like salt water mixture, some OD. Talking about, oh, drink this to lose belly fat. I'm like, bro, calorie deficit. Like, just stuff like that, bro. Like, I think, like I said, my purpose, I just think, just show people they're capable of more than they think, and their glass ceiling is way higher than they think, and just cutting through the BS. That's just the main thing. To answer that question. But 5, what do you do for stress when working out isn't an option? That's a good question. I mean, honestly, listening to music. Like, just listening to music, just listening to old songs I used to listen to. Like one song, for example, I just sent to my dad a picture, Electric Feel by MGMT. I remember him showing me that song. I was like in elementary. I was like in 2nd, 3rd grade, bro. He just showed it to me. I'm like, bro, this is tough. And I've held it with me ever since. Like, even like the album, like, just a lot of albums are nostalgic to me that just bring me back to a happy place, Like Mac Miller, watching movies with the sound off. My uncle, my other uncle, I have 2 of them. My older uncle, he showed me that album in the car. We went to Popeyes. I remember like just red lights. It was dark. It just brings me back to that moment, So I would just say music. I ain't gonna lie. With stress, I think that's one thing, especially in this half marathon prep. The 2 things I need to work on is stress and sleep. And I feel like I haven't done the best job at all of prioritizing that. I prioritize my nutrition and my training, obviously. And, my content and stuff. I feel like my sleep and stress levels sleep is not high enough. My stress levels have been too high, just over dumb stuff, just over analyzing things. Like, I'm a very methodical thinker. I like to look deep into things, and I think that's a really, I guess, a weakness of mine, if you will, or something I need to like work on. So in terms of stress, I'll say listening to music. Like, if I'm feeling a bit tense, putting on a good song, or just like even at the gym, like just listening to my playlist in the car coming back from the gym. I would say that helps pretty well. And I would say journaling too, just putting out generally what I'm thinking. I would say that helps. But right now, I would say music. Music just kind of calms me, especially like nostalgic songs like that. Like it just brings me back to that point in time. Um, Number 6. This is a very good question. I'm actually really excited to answer this question. What's your favorite supplement and why? Good question. I've never really thought of this, but the one that's coming to my head is probably protein powder. I just feel like it's pretty easy to get. It's pretty easy to get a good quality one. And I use it fairly often. Like I use it in my protein. I guess you could call it protein oats. I don't call it that. I meant overnight oats or my stovetop oats. If I make that here and there. I just use it every day. I use it in my oatmeal, and then for my third meal, I had a yogurt bowl shortly before this. I put protein powder in it just to jack up the protein numbers a bit. But meal 2 and meal 4 have no protein powder in it. It'll typically be like a bowl with rice. I mean, if you see what I eat, I'm not about to give y'all the whole 9 on that. Y'all know what I eat. But honestly, either that or I'd probably say G1M Sport, the one BPN makes. I just think very good for runners because I ain't gonna lie. I noticed like when you for me personally, when I eat a little bit like of a heavier carb meal, like I'd eat sourdough with, I don't know, my stomach might just be wishy-washy, but I'd have peanut butter, banana, and like agave syrup before my run. I ain't gonna lie. I think the G1M Sport feels a bit better. But right now I'd probably say G1M Sport and protein powder. It's kind of a toss up. You could throw in algae oil or fish oil if you do fish oil, or you could throw in creatine or even magnesium, something like that, or a multivitamin. But I'll probably say my favorite is probably protein powder because I use it the most. But yeah, I mean, builds muscle, very convenient, and I like the taste of it in recipes, especially if it's flavored. It's pretty cool, and it adds a certain consistency to yogurt, like makes it a bit thicker. So that's my favorite supplement and why. Protein powder. Yeah. 7. What non-physical benefits have you developed from running? Very good question. I would say resilience, and I would say consistency, and I would say I have a lot of discipline and just gritting it out through hard times. I think a perfect analogy of running, like let's say you're deep into a workout and you're hurting really bad, and you're like, dang, like I don't really know how this is gonna end, but you push through and you learn more from it, and you learn that the human body and the human mind is more capable than you think, and you're more capable than you think, even if it seems dark and gloomy in that point in time. Because in life, like especially, I made an episode a couple of weeks ago coming off of a bad week. I had a pretty rough week just mentally, and I think with running, it provides, I guess in current times, it provides me an outlet to just do something, put out a good effort, and then just, feel the effects of it. I don't know if that made any sense, but it's just, I don't know. Running has taught me a lot, man, and running has always been there for me, and running, it's just, I just like it. Just, going out for a run, you're sweating, and then, you check your watch, you go on Strava, just the whole act and the whole lead up of planning out your run and planning out your fuel and planning out how many calories you're going to eat that day and planning out how many carbs you're going to eat in preparation for your workout. It's just stuff like that. But in terms of non-physical, I would say it's really taught me consistency and how applicable that is to any area of my life. Like I applied it to my schoolwork. I've applied it to, consecration. I've applied it to, just showing up for people, and I've just applied it just to who I am. So in terms of benefits, I'll say just the act of being consistent and just the act of gritting things out, even when things might seem pretty difficult, but you can get through the other side if you really want to and you really trust yourself that you can, But all right, we got one more question via the group chat, so I'm about to go back to it and see. All right, cool, it's right here. One question I got here is, what advice would you give to people wanting to start their own fitness journey? Just get started. Like, don't do this beating around the bush and procrastinating. Like, it don't matter if you have all the equipment in the world or you don't. Just get started. Put one foot in front of the other. Just get started. Like, because a lot of people, including me at times, like a couple of days ago, I went through this. It's paralysis by analysis. You look too methodical and you look too deep into things, and it stops you from even starting to put action into things, So I would say just get started. Like, don't even think about being perfect. It's more important to be consistent rather than perfect, It's more important to be imperfectly consistent and be just willing to fail. You know what I'm saying? Because during your fitness journey, you might have days where you're like, I don't want to go lift, I don't want to go walk, I don't want to go run, I don't want to make this I don't know, chicken bowl with quinoa and broccoli. I'd rather go eat Pizza Hut, but you just have to remind yourself of your why. And you have to remind yourself that consistency compounds and consistency reveals all, and remind yourself to play the long game. Don't fall into these fad diets and these things that aren't sustainable. Be sustainable, be consistent, and just be resilient, be willing to endure the process. But give yourself grace along the process and just get started. It's kind of off my head what my genuine answer is to that, because I think a lot of people, they set unrealistic expectations for themselves, and then they get stuck because they're like, oh, like I'm gonna fall into this fad diet. Oh, like I said, drink this apple cider vinegar with salt, when we all know that's not what works. So just follow the things that people know works. Be consistent with that, and just get started. Get started with something, and then you'll evolve along the way. So that was all the questions on the group chat. But now we're on the Instagram side of things. So first question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Honestly, I see myself talking a little shoddy, you know what I'm saying? Some slight. And then kids, probably not. I don't know. It depends on how stable I am, but I think I'm gonna have a lot of money. Like, not like Elon Musk, like, like billionaire, millionaire stuff, but even maybe a millionaire. I don't know. But I know I'm gonna have a stable income for sure. I think I'm gonna have a way more of a community, way more of a following, and I think I'm gonna be more out there. I think more people are gonna know about me, and I think my impact is gonna be way grander than it is right now. So I would say, having like a little fiance or a girlfriend, or maybe even a wife, I don't know, a lot more money incoming, and a lot more, and just what I'm doing now is just elevated to a whole nother level. Like, it's just crazy. Podcast jumping, rest of videos jumping, short clips are jumping. I just want to be even more impactful. I just want more people to learn that anything is possible if you're consistent, you put your mind to it. So I just think everything I'm doing now is just elevated to a whole nother level. That's where I think I'm going to be in 5 years. Very good question. I never really thought about that, to be honest. But next question. These next three, I feel like these are going to be very good answers and very good questions. Do you eat sweet treats? What are some tips for craving less sugar? I struggle with that. By sweet treats, if you mean like Pop-Tarts and Skittles and like honey buns, no, I do not. I rarely eat that. Like, I had birthday cake. I had it the next day because I ain't gonna lie, that cake was sensational. If you know where that's from, I mean, if you know, you know. But other than that, no. Like, I'll have a yogurt bowl, I'll have a smoothie, I'll have oatmeal, I'll use maple syrup, I'll have some dates, I eat bananas, pause. But in terms of like sweet treats, no, I don't. Rarely at all. Like, if you catch me eating some cake, it's like a special occasion, But in terms of some tips for craving less sugar, I would probably, honestly, to get yourself started, I would look into maybe monk fruit sweetener, or maybe even stevia. That's like some things that can get people started. Like, if you drink even diet soda, one dude asked me, should I drink or can I drink diet soda? I would say yes, because it's gonna get you started, and it's gonna propel you later down the line of having healthier habits. Maybe they'll start grabbing water, maybe even kombucha or something, or maybe even sparkling water. So I'll probably say diet drinks. I don't think there's anything wrong with them as long as you're eating, a plant-rich diet, like with broccoli, some rice, some sweet potatoes, some potatoes, maybe some chickpeas or some beans, or maybe some salmon, some cod, maybe some lean chicken, maybe some lean ground beef, stuff like that. I think people know what they should eat, and if you don't, obviously, free plug, Instagram, I post recipes and stuff, maybe you take some inspo. Anyway, for real, on a serious note, some tips, I would say eat some more fruit, watermelon, whatever fruit you like, watermelon, cherries, blueberries, bananas. There's nothing wrong with sugar from fruit because it comes with fiber and other polyphenols and antioxidants, and it's not wrong with fruit. Like, who'd you hear about getting unhealthy for fruit? I don't know. But I would say probably some more fruit. Even maple syrup and date syrup, or even honey, it's good here and there. I wouldn't drown your food in maple syrup or honey, but like a couple amounts here and there sparingly is fine. And even ways to recreate things that are sweet, like And maybe I ain't gonna lie, I can't think of any recipes off my head because I haven't really tried that yet. A cake recipe coming soon, I don't know. But I guess my top three, I'd probably say fruit. Maybe use some alternatives, like maybe some maple syrup or agave syrup or something here and there. That's fine. And maybe looking into diet sodas if you drink soda or not. Water is probably the best choice in my opinion. But if you like soda and you want to curve that sweet tooth, I guess, like Diet Coke or Diet Sprite or Diet Pepsi, that would be fine, you know. But the main one I lean on is fruit. Like, get more fruit into your diet. I feel like that would be the best option. Maybe some smoothie bowls, some smoothies, maybe some oatmeal with some, like, a little bit of sweetener and some banana. Maybe even like some English muffins with banana, peanut butter, and cinnamon, and a little bit of agave syrup. Like, those are some ideas, but I'd say the main one is fruit. That's the one I'd recommend because I feel like, you know, those are naturally sweet and they have a lot more benefits than just, you know, sugary stuff, you know, you would get from the supermarket. So that's my answer for that one. That was kind of a loaded answer. Hopefully I answered that the best I could. That was just my answer off the top of my head. So next question I got is whoa. I just said I just said a whole different language. Tutorial. I ain't know what I said. How to maintain a schedule without school and being undeployed. Honestly, calendar. First word, calendar. I would go into your Apple Calendar or Google Calendar, and I would look at your day, and I would first probably write it down. Like, I feel like everybody has access to paper, so I probably write it down and put it in your notes of things you want to get done for that day. So for me today, what I wanted to get done, the main thing I wanted to get done today is cleaning my house. Because yesterday, not gonna lie, I was a bit stressed at midday. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just try and veg out for the rest of the day. Pick it up tomorrow when I feel a bit better mentally. So main thing was today was cleaning the house. First thing I wanted to do this morning was plan out my lifts. Because obviously I lifted a little bit before this episode. So I wanted to plan out my lifts. I know I had a 6-mile run with 4 strides in the morning. So the point I'm trying to make here, know your personnel, know what you're gonna do for that day. So maybe you want to hang out with your friend, maybe you want to watch a movie, maybe you want to fold your clothes, maybe you want to do laundry, maybe you want to I don't know if you do content, edit a video. So lay things out. Don't over bombard yourself though, because I used to do that a lot. Like, I have a limit of like 5 tasks in a day. Like maybe 1 or 2 major tasks, and the other ones are like, you know, doing laundry, folding clothes, washing dishes. I wash dishes like right off rip, but, you know, just for example. But I would say write it down in your notes or write it down on a piece of paper or in a notebook, and just write down, I'd say 4 to 5 things you want to get done for that day. And then go to your calendar, look at, you know, maybe some events going on. Maybe there's a birthday party, maybe there's I don't know why this came to my head, a funeral. That's sad. But, you know, that's just, maybe there's a big event, you know, some that, you know, you have to go somewhere. It takes a big amount of time. Now with calendars, I'm going to preface, like, big events, like birthday parties, unless it's like 7 to 9, you might not get it perfect. But I feel like I realized with calendars and stuff, it's not about perfection. It's just about being as effective as you can be, you know, and being as efficient as you can be, you know. I think effective is a better word. But just maximizing your time. So I would look at your calendar and see, okay, I can fold clothes right when I wake up. I can walk the dog at 2. I can make dinner at 5. I want to be in bed by like 8 or 9 or 10. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, obviously, the main thing, like in your calendar, I would put first is when you're waking up. Like, okay, I wake up at 5:30, I sleep at 9. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I set mine up. And then I just fill in everything as follows. But I would say write things down on either your notes or your notebook or whatever, and make it known what you want to get done for that day. Go into your calendar. Doesn't have to be perfect. You could probably just block off some time to get those things done, or maybe just I know Apple has like a reminders that goes with your calendar, so you can just put reminders throughout the day, or maybe put alarms, you know, just something to help hold you accountable and something to notify you, okay, I need to get this thing done that I wanted to get done. But that's how I would maintain a schedule. I would use notebook, notes app, and a calendar of some sort, if it's physical or virtual, either one. But next question, kind of already answered this, but I'm going to answer it again. What keeps you motivated throughout the summer? I mean, my main goal is running a sub 130 half marathon. So, I mean, if I'm not logging my miles, if I'm not eating enough, if I'm not eating enough carbs, if I'm not eating enough protein, fats, I'm not eating, staying, you know, I don't even know what I was gonna say, but just being what I know I need to be, just being on top of things. I know when it comes to half marathon, I'm gonna fall on my face, like it's gonna be a flop. So I would say having goals and having a drive, having a reason why, and just being accountable and just knowing what works. I know consistency works, tried and true. So why would I not do that? And honestly, I love running, I love training, and I love seeing the process and seeing the progress you make along the line. So I would say main three things is just enjoying the process and just seeing all the progress, just being consistent, just being committed to a goal. And I would just say just having fun with it, just seeing how far I can take this thing. That's kind of my answer to that question. But this is kind of a recurring thing. I think a lot of people wonder about this. I don't know, but how long have you been vegan? Now, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like that word. I ain't gonna lie. I think because the thing is, I think when people think about vegans, they think about impossible meat and they think about all this junk food. And I don't eat like that at all. Like, I don't eat impossible meat. I've had it one time and it was at a dinner, so it was a special occasion. So like, I was like, you know what? It's the only thing like I can really get other than like some pasta. So fine, sure. But like I'll eat overnight oats in the morning. I'll probably have a bowl with like chickpeas and rice. For my third meal, I'll probably have like a yogurt bowl or like a smoothie. And then for dinner, it kind of varies. I might have a wrap, might have a scramble, might have spaghetti like I'm having today. But it's all very whole foods. Like, it's whole foods, plant based. So anyway, to answer your question, I just had to clarify that. It's probably been 2 to 3 years now, because I went completely plant-based cold turkey, and then for a period of time, like a week or so, I was vegetarian because I got some like local farm eggs. So the thing is about me, when I was eating meat and fish, I would get the highest quality I could. So grass-fed, grass-finished meat. I'd get wild-caught fish. I'd get pasture-raised eggs. I'd get the best quality I can, because just seeing it was this one documentary, just seeing how the chickens are treated. It rubbed me the wrong way, to be honest. Just seeing them kick them and stuff. And obviously, it's a documentary. They probably amplified it to get reactions out of people, but I still believe, me personally, that goes on in some capacity. And I just thought that just the stuff they're fed and just how they're treated, I just wanted to get higher quality, and I still believe in that. I think if you're gonna eat fish like sardines or salmon, or if you're gonna eat chicken, I would advocate for pasture raised or wild caught or grass fed, grass finished. But anyway, it's been 2 to 3 years. I was whole food, plant based, quote unquote, or vegan for like a year or so, and I went vegetarian for a while to try it out. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got scared a little bit, because I'm like, oh, what are people gonna think, like I'm eating eggs? I ain't gonna lie, that's the thing. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be completely honest, that's kind of a stigma. Like, a lot of vegans are very in your face, and they're very kind of really rude, to be honest. Like, they're rude to people and they judge people. But the thing is, at the end of the day, what I still have to realize now, not everyone's gonna eat the way you eat, and you're gonna be friends with people with differing opinions. You don't have to think the exact same way to be cool with someone and respect someone. I think a lot of people in that camp, they disrespect people because they're not doing what they're doing, and they feel like they're above people, and they feel like they're on a whole nother moral compass. But there's different ways to be a good human being, in my opinion. But 2 to 3 years in total, not including the vegetarian thing. But yeah, in total, I'd probably say 2 years or so, to answer your question. But I ain't gonna lie, I've thought of, especially recently, I've thought of, maybe introducing some sardines. If you don't know anything about sardines, like, they repopulate very quickly, and they're not as demanding on the the ecosystem, and they're I guess more sustainable than like salmon or cod. So maybe you'll see a change in the future. If you do, don't be alarmed. Like, I'm not having a mental crisis. It's just, I think you can do something a certain way for so long, but over time you're gonna evolve, and your mindset might shift a certain way. So I think also you can have the same principles. Like, if I do that, if I do that, I'm still gonna have the same principle of a plant-rich diet. Like, still gonna have legumes and tofu, because I don't know why people be hating on tofu. If you can season it well, it tastes fine to me. So if you have a problem with that, I don't know what to tell you. But sardines will be kind of an addition, like a small addition, like not the main focus of things if I ever go that route, which I've thought of, I'm not gonna lie. But you never know. I'll probably learn some along the way, and if I don't like it, I'll just go back to being plant based because I think it's pretty fun if you know what you're doing. But anyway, after that long with an answer to answer your question, 2 to 3 years. That's how long I've been vegan. So next question. Good. This one's gonna take me out. I ain't gonna lie. Favorite album of all time. Oh my gosh. My voice does weird things sometimes. Bear with me. Favorite album of all time. I had to re up because that was bad. Favorite album of all time. It's a good question, dude. That's a really good question. I gotta think, bro. Favorite album of all time. Now, one that came in my head that I used to say was my favorite album of all time was Question Mark by X. I ain't gonna lie, no, it's not. I was just an X fanboy. X is tough, but no, it's not my favorite album of all time. Like what's one I like from start to finish? Like it's just gas. This isn't maybe my favorite, but a notable one. I'll just name a few. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I don't really have a favorite of all time. I'll probably say Damn by Kendrick, Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick, Circles and Swimming by Mac Miller. That's a notable one. Daytona by Pusha T. That's another notable one. Let me think. Dang, it's a hard question, dude. Probably even Watching Movies with the Sound Off by Mac Miller. I'm just throwing out albums at this point I really like. I like it's another good one. I like I don't really know. Those are just ones that came to my head. I ain't gonna lie. Probably some Pimp a Butterfly. Probably dang dude. Probably I'm folding bad right now, but that's just what came to my head. I ain't gonna lie, but I'd probably have to think more in depth about the album. That album, yeah, but that answer. But those are just a few notable ones I have. I ain't gonna lie, I can't really set my head on one that I'd like give you a definite answer for. But those are just a few that I really like. But last question, another vegan question. How did you become vegan? I ain't gonna lie, I did a cold turkey. Not gonna hold you. I'm a very cold turkey type person. Is that a pause? I don't know. But I just was on Instagram. I was learning about plant-based nutrition. I thought, oh, this is interesting. And I was thought, obviously there's some ethical components. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a super diehard ethical vegan. Not gonna lie, like if you eat meat around me, I will not castrate you. Like you're good. You eat what you want. It doesn't bother me. But I remember this like it's yesterday. Story time, bear with me. I asked my papa to take me to Kroger, and I still go to this Kroger to this day. And I went there. I got chickpeas, tempeh, cauliflower, and I think rainbow carrots. I think that's what I got. And the next day I made tempeh. I ain't gonna lie, I did not know how to cook tempeh because it was trash. I hated tempeh, and I didn't eat it like for an extended period of time. And then I redid it, and I'm like, okay, this actually tastes good if you know how to cook it. Because I think the biggest thing with plant-based eating, no matter if you're fully plant-based, pescatarian, if you're flexitarian, or maybe for vegetarian, whatever, if you eat mostly plant-based foods, because those are all plant-based diets, variants of it, you need to know how to season tofu and tempeh. That's the main thing. You need to know how to season most of these plant-based proteins. Now, the thing is obviously with beans, lentils, chickpeas, black-eyed peas, they're very easy to season. People have been eating beans for a long time, I guess. So, but in terms of tofu is a bit easier to cook with. Tempeh is a bit, like I would say, maybe add some potato starch. Like I did that with the Mediterranean tahini bowl I just posted not too long ago. It amplifies the flavor and amplifies the texture of it, Honestly, I'll probably cook tempeh from now on because I really like the way I cooked it. But anyway, you just really have to know how to season your food. Now, obviously, people say, oh, like, you don't have to season meat. Yes, you do. Like, that's a poor argument. And I'm not even, like, on a side. I'm just stating how it is. Like, if you don't season meat, it's just going to taste like nothing, really. So same thing like with tofu, like with oatmeal. It's a bland slate, So I would add some smoked paprika if you ever want to try tofu. You don't have to be vegan, but if you want to try, I'd recommend it because, it's a bit more sustainable and it's a good source of plant-based protein, and it's a whole nother slew of benefits I'm not going to get into this episode. But smoked paprika, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, so probably some coconut aminos or some soy sauce, or maybe even some Worcestershire sauce. Maybe some potato starch if you want to make it a little bit crispier, if you will. So how did I become vegan? Just kind of heard about some things. I ain't gonna lie, I saw a video of this pig. It was like in this, like, I ain't gonna lie, like not a slaughterhouse. I don't know. It was like this video. I ain't gonna lie. This is probably rage bait, like emotion bait, if you will. I ain't gonna lie. I think it was, but it had like some type of mark on it. It was like crying. So I ain't gonna lie. That played a bit of a factor, but the main thing was just hearing about just the act of it, and you know what I'm saying. It just felt really new and interesting to me. So I was like, I'll try it, and I stuck with it from now. Also, like I mentioned, I've had some thoughts of changing some things up a bit, but at the same time, I've realized that there's so many other foods that aren't like animal based that are also really good for you, and they're very interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different avenue. And I just feel like if I never would have went plant based, no matter if I stayed plant based for the rest of my life or not, I've realized that it's just there's a whole nother thing of foods other than chicken and beef and fish, and nothing wrong with these foods at all. But I'm saying it broadened my horizons to the foods out there and the way that you can approach nutrition. I feel like that'll help me throughout my life. Like maybe if someone's vegan that comes up to me, they're like, hey, I don't really know what to do. I just became vegan, maybe because they're ethical vegan and they don't like the idea of killing animals or whatever. I respect that. So I'd be like, hey, you probably want to season tofu this way. Hey, you probably want to introduce this food group. Hey, you probably want to, if you have an iron-rich food, you probably want to eat vitamin C next to it because it helps you absorb the non-heme iron better than if you just ate meat, because obviously meat is heme iron. So you just absorb it the way it is. You don't need a source of vitamin C. I could go deeper into that, but yeah. But just I feel like that happened so I can help other people that maybe follow that way of life, and also just to help myself learn that there's a whole different slew of foods that aren't animal based that are very worth including in your diet if that works for you, But that's all the questions. 40-minute episode. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. But hopefully y'all took something away from me answering those questions. I answered those the best I could with, I ain't gonna lie, I just wanted to go off the dome. I didn't really want to write anything down. I just wanted to say what came to my head when I just saw the question. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the episode. If y'all want more Q&As, ask me more questions. Simple as that. Simple math. But yeah, that was the episode. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and I'm gonna see y'all next week.